All right, what's going on? This is Quaman coming to you live here, and we got a great message on today. This is going to be good, and we're going to talk about making the decision, being decisive, and making a move with faith. Okay, so great stuff. I'm gonna get started here recording. All right, welcome this morning, this Monday. It's the 7th. And excited to have you on this morning. We got some great information to share, and I'll start off today just giving some updates and letting you know what's going on the calendar. So this week we're going to be playing at the Manship Theater. It's connected with the Manship in Baton Rouge, performing actually on Wednesday and the 9th, and we're going to be at the Hartley Studio Theater, and I'll be there performing with Chris Royal, another saxophonist that studied with Mr. Alvin Baptiste. Also, um, we'll have Max Moran on the bass, another student of Mr. Baptiste from back in the day. And who else? We have Mr. John Jones on drums. He was there with me at Southern University on drums. We recorded together on the Vision CD and some other projects. We've done some things. And Fred Sanders on keys. He's going to be coming in town from Dallas or Granbury area. So yeah, it's going to be fun, and I'll be there doing some things, clinics and workshops and different things with the schools, some schools there, and we'll do a podcast for the Baton Rouge Arts Council, and and all that good stuff. So I'm excited about that this week. And if you're in the area, Baton Rouge, New Orleans area, just reach out to me, and maybe we can hook up, or maybe we can hook up at a jam session or something. So just stay connected with me. All right. So what else? Of course, the Jazz Train was good this past Friday, and we have another one coming up this Friday. And then after that, Saturday, we're going to be playing um, earlier in the day at Sundance Square, 11 a.m. to 12:45. That's for the Music and Arts Festival during the day. Then that night, around 7, we're going to be in Fort Worth at the Fifth Avenue. So come out and check out the Quamon Fowler Quartet at Arts Fifth Avenue. If you don't want to get downtown and be tied up with all of that traffic for the Arts Festival, then you can see us live, have a nice intimate setting there, Arts Fifth Avenue, happening that night on the 12th. What else is going on? Well, that's enough for now. I'll try to give it week by week. But yeah, we're going to get started today. We're going to dive into a great conversation, a great topic, and we're going to talk about decision making a decision. So I'm going to just pull up my notes here, and then we will dive right in. We will. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we had some great things going on. I have some great things going on, and the thing about every day presents new opportunities, and also it can present missed opportunities. I talked about that before last week. We was just talking about um, how you want to move on opportunities and take advantage of things. Some people can not have vision or be blind to the opportunities that pop up. So today we're going to talk about being decisive. So be decisive, make a move with faith. Let's get into it. Now this is nuggets for the sound musician. The sound musician is not just about having a great sound, but being sound and having wisdom and being able to be solid and well rounded. And that's what I'm all about. Okay. So we're going to dive in here. Let's go up to the top and get started here. So this is some good stuff. And one of the things you wanna we always like to start, or I used to actually launch into creating multiple streams of income around my business or even outside of my business. The scripture that I always like to use and go back to is that uh, the scripture that comes from Ecclesiastes 11, 1 and 2, where it says casting your bread. So sowing what God already placed in your hands. Your talent, your time, your message, and your story. Okay? So the thing about that, when you think about it, I said a few things. I said your talent, your time, your message, and your story. All right? You don't know which one will return. So cast in many directions. Okay, you got music, you got teaching, you got video, you have writing. Okay, and so this connects with my chapter 3, where I was talking about in my book, like finding your way. So I'm sorry, finding your why. So your why can become a significant source of inspiration and fulfillment, providing for you, for your family, and walking in calling are both part of your purpose. So here's the thing. Now, we're talking about moving with faith, right? So when you making when you making a decision, your decision has to be rooted in something that you um, love and are passionate about. And the thing that's very important about making a decision is because it's not based on emotion, or it's not based on superficial things. It's something that has to be rooted in your faith and something that's solid. And so when you think about what you want to do, or people ask you what you want to do, or if you're struggling to provide for your family, or you're struggling to actually pay bills, or whatever your challenges are, you really, we talked about the issues that people might have to challenge their identity, because, when you don't know and you're confused, then you end up not making a move because you're just uncertain. So that's why it's very important to get your footing in your faith. And it's your faith, once you're in line with God and his will, then your steps, you'll have more confidence to move forward. And when I'm talking about your giftedness and your talent, look, we have these different things. When we talk about casting your bread in different things, I'm talking about, think about your talent. What do you do well? All right, what's your skill that you have? All right, what about your time? Your time is something that you have to give as well. You know what I'm saying? You can give of your talent, you can produce from your talent, you can give of your time. You got a message. What is your message? Like, what do you believe? Like, what's your mission statement? Like, what's your motivation? And what is your story? Like, all of those things, if you don't, or if you're unclear on what your story is, I mean, nobody's unclear on their story. I mean, you've been living, you got testimony, you got an experience, but you just haven't shared it, or you might not have thought about the value that uh, would be gained from you sharing from your story. And what's your message? Like, what is, um, your core message? What's the drive of your heart? You know what I'm saying? You got to start there and develop those things, and even you develop by doing it. So it's not even a point where you have to have it all together. And I'll talk about this later in our conversation today, because this is all decision. Like, decision is not based on perfection. You know, I always say that, probably every day. I'm gonna say this because we all have imperfections. We all have blind spots. We all have areas that we're weak. But the thing about it, you embrace the areas that you're strong in and you just keep moving. And what happens is, this is what I got from Steph Curry. He said you embrace the the things that you're good in and work hard, and then that becomes will become your superpower. And we know a cat like that, his superpower is shooting the threes and half court and all of that. So he changed the whole game because he focused. He worked hard and he focused on the very thing that he was good at. You know what I'm saying? He's not. He's a different style. He's not. He's my height, 6'3". Other cats are 6'9", 6'10". That's not his strong point. So he had to adapt. He's quick, good ball handler, and can shoot. You know what I'm saying? So that's his strength. Other people might be tall. Other people might be strong. Other people might be able to have a different style and a different attack than something like Steph Curry. But the thing about it, he focused on his strength and his weakness. He knew what his weakness was, and then he turned that into a superpower. And so, but anyway, that's just an example. And so, um, yeah. So think about your time, those different areas I mentioned again. One is your talent, one is your time, what's your message, and then what's your story. Okay. All right. And then when you put those forth, you never know which ones will really work for you. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the next part. Now, I want to talk about the time you give. So think about a time you gave freely, teaching, performing, posting, and the blessing that came back unexpectedly. So so here's an example. So I do these lives, right? And this actually happens every week in some regard, where I'll post daily, and then somebody will join the mentorship program, or somebody will reach out to me and want to know what I'm doing and want me to help them, and I can connect them into some of the resources that I have, and it will help them. So this is like a daily basis. And so if you think about even the return on my investment, like, you invest. Here's the thing. I invest in myself, and I've talked about this. You invest time in working your business, right? Or you invest time in working your craft. Where when you do that, you work on something, and what you're working on will work on you. Personal development, discipline, all of that stuff. It'll work on you to the point it'll make you better, to the point your craft will work for you, or your business will work for you then. And so the trade off within sharing, when you share, I share every day. These podcasts, lessons, streams are free. And so I'm giving. You're paying me, even if you're not paying with a dollar. You're paying with attention. And so I'm sowing seeds, watering seeds. I'm helping you. And then later down the line, at some point, you might want to come to a performance, or you might want to sign up for the mentorship program, or you might want to hire me for a particular engagement where you want me to play or speak. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that you have to do is just show up and do your part, and it connects to your obedience, right? When you're obedient, as God works on you personally, and you get revelation, or you study and you're working, you develop your skill, then there's a time where you need to share. And when you share of that, people will connect with that, and you'll help people. And that's the reciprocity. It's like, as God develops you and you share out of the abundance of your heart, other people will see that. They'll be inspired. You'll motivate them and push them in a direction where you can create a community of like-minded people that are motivated and moving towards being fulfilling their purpose, their calling. And a testimony that I want to share, even like simple posts on Facebook. I shared this like some time back. I made a post, and so somebody was inspired so much so they was like, "Man, Quamon, what's your Cash App, or what's your Zelle?" was like, what's going on? It's like, man, I just want to be a blessing. I just want to sow into your life because over the years you've just always, encouraged me with your messages that you shared. And so I did. I sent him my information and he blessed me with a nice amount that I was like, oh wow, this is cool. Appreciate it. But I was just thinking, if I was not obedient, if I didn't do these lives, I would have missed out on that opportunity, the blessing. And so the thing about it, the blessing is not even about the money that I received, but it's more so the impact that I made in that person's life that encouraged them. A lot of times, God, of course, men have to give you money. That's what the Bible says in Luke, where it talk about, give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and runneth over shall men pour into your bosom. So that's the thing about giving. Giving, when you're obedient, and you're sharing a word or some encouragement or even giving of monetary things financially or time or whatever it is, it's just the laws of the universe. It's just the laws of how God put this stuff in place: seed, time, and harvest. You know what I'm saying? You plant seeds, you give it time, and then it'll bring back a harvest. Whether it's followers or whether it's giving of money or resources or help, networking, all of that kind of stuff. When you add value as a leader, you will have followers, and then those followers you can build up, and they become leaders, and they can go out and do the same thing. This whole multiplication process comes from God. Okay, and I like it's amazing. I performed this past weekend. Another prime example, we was performing at SCAT, and I didn't even think. Um, I'll say it like this. So we had a situation where we had to get another drummer at the last minute, and so our whole set list was kind of changed, and we just had to kind of go off the cuff of like what songs we were gonna do because we was just wasn't sure on what to call because we had a different drummer. So and it wasn't bad. It's the gig went cool. It was well. And then at the end, the guy came up to the stage and he said, I wanna just be a blessing to you all. Y'all really encouraged me. Y'all really helped me. And so he gave $500. So 100 for each musician. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And the thing about it is, here it is as a musician. Sometimes we get in our head and we're thinking that it's not right, or we're thinking about certain things uh, that are not happening, or things that are could be negative. Whereas the people on the outside, they have no idea of how we're looking at things, or our perspective. They're experiencing something just totally different because it's a cultural thing too. So we learn personality and culture when you listen to music, when you go to a performance. And so, out of our hearts and souls, we're sharing music and we're connecting with people who are just in a totally different industry, totally different place. Could be spiritually, mentally, psychologically. So, you never really know what you're doing for people. But and you can't take it for granted because it is a ministry. Like we're minstrels. We're used of God to really help people. That's what music operates under, the gift of helps. And so I'm just blown away by the responses that I get from time to time, how people are so moved that, they let you know, they tell you, hey, you reminded me of my pops who used to play saxophone. He passed away last year, and it was just so great to just see you, and it just made me just feel good and remember those times when I had my dad, or, somebody give and do what they did Saturday where they gave $500 and $100 each to each guy. So it's like, you know, you just never know the blessings. It's like this. You can know how many seeds are in an apple, but you just don't know how many apples are that will come from a seed. And so that's the importance. That's why it's important to be obedient, to make a decision, and to move and just go forth and let God handle all of the stuff that you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? We can only do what we can control anyway. Okay. So one of the things too that I wanted to talk about, Colossians 3:23 and 24. The references is coming from chapter 6 and talking about accountability. And so I'm kind of pulling from my book, The Christian Musician. Learn what your real gift is and how to succeed with and beyond your music. All right. It's not just about setting goals, it's about being real with yourselves. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, being real with ourselves. So I mean, this is so good. This is so good. So you want to be, so your commitment is an offering to God. Don't do it halfway, waiting for a quote unquote real opportunity. Man, and I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna share the points, and then we'll go into talking about it. Show how your show how you sponsor yourself spiritually. Prayer, preparation, praise through your practice. Now, all right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Um, Everything that we need is with us. Think about how God created us. We got hands, thank God, hands. We got eyes, ears, nose, legs. You know, we have all of our members. We're created with everything that we need in order to uh, make it as a human being. Some people have defects, some people have issues, but um, you know, some people have challenges in certain areas, physical or even mental. But the thing about it, if you got a good mind, this is the sound musician. So if you got a sound mind, or if you uh, are coming to the knowledge, or you're learning what it is that you want to do and how you're doing it, if you just continue in the process of seeking Him and learning and growing, like, you will learn how to use the tools you have and learn how to better use the tools that you have. And then you'll get quicker in the process. I understand sometimes you don't know exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it. But the thing that you have to do is use what you have, even with recording, or even uh, bettering yourself on the instrument. So, for instance, and I do this, I talk about even for those when you sit down with your instrument and you don't know what to practice. Well, you can start a lot of times people start off with scales, sometimes arpeggios. But I have areas where I talk about you can transcribe something, learn something new, then take what you learn, put it in different keys, work on a song, learn the changes to that song, um, and then practice your arpeggios or scales or whatever, put it in different keys. You know what I'm saying? Or play tunes. Turn on your um, play alongs and just play tunes. So you can always rotate those areas, and then once you start doing that, that that zone will kick in. And a lot of times, of course, when you're not in the zone, you're just surveying things. And a lot of times when we're in that survey, like we'll talk ourselves out of things. We'll see the outer appearance of something. It's kind of like if you see a store and you just looking at it, so that's interesting. I bet they got this and that in there. Whereas if you just open the door and go in the store, you'll see everything. Or if you see a book, like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. You'll see a book and you'll see the subtitle. It's like, and you'll look on the back and want to read the summary of it. But the thing about it is, if once you get into reading the book, you get the specifics. You get the whole story and context, and so you get in the zone. People, even the whole idea of reading books, right? People will say, "Man, I don't have time to read." But the thing about it, once you start reading, it pulls you in. It's like it compels you. It's like, dang, I want to get back to that book. I want to get back to reading. I want to find out, because once you open that door and the zone kicks in, it's like it takes you deep. It takes you into the depths of things where it's like it's really good. And that's the same thing with practicing. Like you can survey things on the outside. I know I work on my scales. I can work on putting stuff in all keys, or I can work on learning this tune and all of that kind of stuff. But you can say that, but once you actually start practicing and going over things, your brain, your spirit, like something happens to where it compels you and kind of pulls you in deeper, where you get into that zone, and that's where that connection spiritually happens, where you get into prayer and meditation. And I just remember those times. It's really intimate time with God because it's instrumental. He's working, he's showing, like, we're using our instrument as a tool to help us to express ourselves sonically. So it's working on us, and he's working on us too as his instrument. So he's practicing using us just as much as we're practicing using the instrument, because we're trying to better express ourselves through this instrument, because we have a voice, we have a musical voice, and something that we want to say and explain and communicate to others. So he wants to explain things through us. He wants to use us through our example. So let your light shine before men so that they can glorify the Father that is in heaven. God is spirit. So, we can't see God, but you can see people. You can, you can be inspired by people that yield themselves to be used of God. You'll know the difference from somebody who's really led of God because their fruit and their reputation go along with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's work. I can listen to the word, hear the word, and it chop me up and challenge me internally. But if I don't do anything in response, then what's the point? It's like hearing the word and not being a doer, looking at myself in the mirror and then going away and not doing anything about it. So we definitely want to let him work on us, let the craft or whatever it is, let it develop us so that then later it can work for us, right? All right. So the real change happens when you're consistent, showing up for yourself every day, even when it's the last thing you want to do. Wow, that's so good. That's true. So, I mean, and that happens even during these streams. I think about other things that I could do, work on, but then I remember principles that I learned even from other business people. They say, the guy had said you want to work outside your business first and then work inside your business. So, what does that mean? So, with any business, you're going to have to do marketing and yeah, marketing, you know. And so marketing, promotion, that's what I was thinking. So promotion and marketing. So you got to do things where you're going public, sharing things through social media, doing public appearances, performances, or whatever, marketing, getting the word out about your business, because that's a way that you can always drive more traffic to what you have to offer as products and services. And so the working inside your business, that's all of the administrative stuff for your operations from day to day, checking, sending emails, replying to clients, talking to people who are in your business, planning what you're going to do for the week. All that's internal. Nobody can see all of that stuff. But when we put stuff public, that's an opportunity to continue the cycle, because you're going to always have to have new people that are coming into what you're doing, or the people who are following you, who are about to, uh, you know, connect with you. Or it's like commercials. Every day people are turning on the TV. Every day people are using YouTube, Instagram. So you'll see these ads pop up. That's always running across your view, because they want you to choose them. They want you to discover them. So you got to work outside of your business. So part of these streams help to serve as that. And so you got to remember that even when you might not feel like doing it, you're making a commitment to yourself. Like the reason and purpose for me doing these streams is to, number one, share out of the abundance of my heart and what I've received, and to give you nuggets for the sound musician. And so, and in return, I'm able to encourage and even educate those out there about me and what I do. And it serves a purpose because today, when you are a leader of any type, no matter what the industry is, for people to get to know, like you, and trust you, you got to show up in those spaces that people are used to consuming content on a daily basis. Okay? All right. So let me ask you. So, where have you been waiting for someone else to co sign what God already called you to do? All right. One more time. Where have you been waiting for somebody else to co sign on what God has called you to do? Okay. Think about it. So I'll be the first to answer that. So when it comes to, let's say, business outside of music, right? I've done music all my life, 30 something years, performing, teaching, putting out records, master's degree, um, traveling, all kind of stuff, streaming and videos and membership site, all of that. But there's an area that I want to conquer, I want to master, and that is a business entrepreneurship. So, real estate. I'm coming back around to that. I'm doing some things involving real estate. And so sometimes the areas that you're not as strong in, or you're learning about business and how to connect the dots with starting a business and getting funding and doing big deals and stuff like that. In those areas where you're not weak, of course, I mean, where you're weak and you're not as informed or competent, you know, then you might think that you have to have all this under your belt, or this knowledge and experience before you can actually do something. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you'll feel that you need somebody else to validate the decision that you feel to do that particular thing. Or a lot of times people will even spend thousands of dollars on programs, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you do, if it's somebody, a program that you really appreciate. But I just remember people, or talk to people who've paid thousands of dollars on programs that, and still haven't done anything with them. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's not those programs that didn't work, it's the people, because their confidence. You know what I'm saying? You can't, if a person is fearful, it doesn't matter the program or even the mentor. Like, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to move. You have to apply what you get. Like, I've done that. I've done programs relating to real estate, but I've acted up on things. I've purchased property. I've done things. I moved on things. And so, um, in terms of you know co-signing somebody else, like, I think it's just because of personality too. I didn't ever really need somebody to co-sign or to tell me, yes, can do this. Like, I've been self-motivated, maybe to a fault, where I'll get going and run with something, and then discover the pitfalls later. Whether, as opposed to looking at all of the pitfalls and then making a slow decision to get into it. And I think it's personality type, but sometimes you can have analysis paralysis, where you're just overthinking. And I remember when I went to this real estate conference, and the lady gave an example. And so she said, "Who wants to give me a $5 bill for this 20?" And then some people hesitated and just watched. But then some guy up at the front, he just got up real quick, got a $5 bill, and gave it to her for the 20, you know. And then the second time she said, "Who wants to give me," I forgot how she did it. "Who wants to give me two tens for this 20, or for $30 or $40. I don't know. It was something like that. And then the next time, more people responded. And then she said, "Who? Okay, who wants to give me five? Who wants to give me a 20 for this $10 bill?" Then everybody kind of was moving, but it's like, well, wait a minute. This is not a deal. And so she gave that as an example, and she was saying windows of opportunity will come where you have those people who will see it and then they'll move on it real quick and they get a great deal. Then you got those people who will just see an opportunity, but they'll wait and kind of wait to see who else moves, and they won't move, or they'll move late and they won't get the deal that was available when it first presented itself. Then you got those people who just wait, and then they finally go after it. And by the time they go after it, there's really no deal there at all. And so I was like, wow, that's really good. But it was a really good seminar, you know. But anyway, you don't want to delay. You don't want to delay your opportunities, the opportunities that present themselves. And here's a scripture. This comes from Ecclesiastes 11:4. It said, "He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap." Ain't that something? Don't delay because the budget's tight, the audience is small, or you're uncertain. Don't delay. Sponsor equal I go anywhere. I'm sorry, I go anyway. So I was talking about being your own sponsor, and I talk about that in the book. And so what I mean by that, sometimes we'll look. So I need a grant money, or I need somebody to loan me this money, or whatever. Really, I mean, and even if you want grant money and if you want a loan, there's ways that you can do and things that you can do to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm doing some things right now, with business funding. And so yeah, so it's ways around it, but you have to quit making excuses. You can't, like, you got to be clean. You got to come clean. Are you just fearful? You just have a spirit of fear, you doubt? Because really, that's what it comes down to. You got fear, and they cancel each other out. So, or they're the opposite. Fear is a belief. Faith is a belief, but fear is demonic. That's demonic faith. Faith in God, He expects us to have an expected end. He wants to give us the desires of our heart. If we take a delight in Him, He will give us the desires of our heart. If you seek ye first kingdom of God and His righteousness, all these things will be added unto you. So He created us for His own purpose and likeness, and so if you are seeking Him, there's no reason that you need to be fearful. Like I said before, sometimes because we're in the natural, there's windows, opportunities, stuff change, so many different variables where everything is not a straight line, or success is not a straight line. A lot of times you just need to be obedient, and then you'll get what you need to do at that particular time to move forward. A lot of times we'll make a hypothesis, or we'll try to you know do a scenario and plan out everything, and before we make a move. But then once you get over into it, you'll realize that I didn't even realize what I didn't know. So you're going to have to change things anyway. So you just might as well, in faith, trust first, start rooted in Him, then make a move, make a decision, so that every day you can just make sure you're being obedient to what He says. And when you go back and look at your perspective when you first started, it's going to be different anyway. So, I mean, our brain is constantly growing, if you're growing, if you're learning, right? And you learn not just from reading, but you learn from acting upon what you read, applying. All right, so you got to keep pressing through the setbacks. These are uh, detours, not dead ends. Yes, detours, not dead end. All right, so here's another quote from chapter 5. I want to talk about setbacks. Setbacks. The most important thing to remember is that setbacks aren't dead ends. They are more like detours. Okay, so Use what you have right where you are. Chapter 7, we talk about focus on the journey. All right. So, self sponsorship isn't about having everything. It's a I'm sorry, it's about doing what you can with what you have now. That's right. I love that, man, because you can't make any excuses. You can't. It's not anybody else's responsibility to get out what you have in your head. Like, think about it. If I heard hearing all the music that I've heard over the years, if I didn't get it out, if I didn't put it on my voice memo, if I didn't write the tune or put it in Logic, I wouldn't have been able to release the 9 albums and put out the singles and record with other people. Other people wouldn't have been inspired. Other people wouldn't have been, able to hear and celebrate the songs that I've written over the years. You know what I'm saying? If I was not getting this stuff out, if I was not being obedient and being diligent with what I've been given. You have to be a good steward of the things that you have been entrusted with. And when you're a good student, God will bless you. God will give you more because you're faithful over the few things that He's given you, right? So it's important to create a space where you feel inspired and excited to work on what you love. Every little step adds up. That is so true. So you got to create space to be able to develop and explore. And it's fun. It's great, and it doesn't have to be long. You can be 30 minutes to an hour. And you need it for your own well being, your own soul and spirit. I think most of the frustration comes with people because they're not spending the time doing that. They're working, they're getting pulled left and right with all of the duties and tasks that life requires. If you have a family, if you're trying to meet deadlines, or just all the stresses that come with it, you got to have some time for yourself, some time with God, and time to get out what it is that you are thinking, what you're feeling, you're processing, how you're processing it, and you have to uh, just let God wash you, get you a clear, uh, mind and spirit, a peace about it. That's the thing. Be not anxious for nothing, but with all things with prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known unto God. And it says, a peace that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. That's so comforting. That is so comforting. So when you embrace him, he'll give you peace. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. So all the stresses, the fears, and all the cares of this world, we you can't go through life without him, without acknowledging him. I mean, it'll just give you so much more peace of mind and purpose. Okay, now we are trucking along through here. We're almost there. We're almost there. What time is it? It's like 12:42. So we'll be done here in like 18 minutes. All right, so I want to invite you to, I'll take a commercial break. So if you're interested in taking or being a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program, I do teach on a weekly basis. We deal with, somebody sent a message in the chat, but we do, hey, what's going on? That's my man, Manuel. But yeah, we do improvisation. We'll go over some things regarding how to play and express yourself better on your instrument, and then we'll also work on business and different strategies and things for blooming in your business. And also, we do present some things that will help you with your business funding and cash flow that you can access through some different vehicles that we have. So that's a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. For more information, the number's there, 877-360-4014, and you can sign up and get on a Zoom with me at letsgetsound.com. Or if you're ready To get started right away, you can go to shed.quamonfowler.com. All right, so let's go through this. We're talking about um, sponsoring. Uh, and oh, let me go back here. So we're looking at uh, where was I at? I left off where we were talking about um, yeah, every little step adds up. All right, and God breathes on the obedience, not just the outcome. Thank you, Jesus. So God breathes on the obedience, not just the outcome. So don't get it twisted. Sometimes we can be looking at the goals and we're like, I got to do this, I got to do that. Remember, it's a relationship, it's a journey. All right. You know, it's not about being perfect, but it is about being better. You can be better, but you can't be better if you're not trying, if you're not putting in the daily work. And so just be obedient and consistent to the daily work and let God, like, shape you and craft you just from the process. That's why it's important to practice every day, you know, and whatever it is, you're going to get better because you're putting in those hours, 10,000 hours. Y'all remember, to become a master, 10,000 hours you put into something before you get to that mastery level. So, yeah. All right, here we go. Number 5, investment today uh, fuels legacy tomorrow. That is so good. I love this. And we're still moving. We're talking about making a decision, right? Every day, this can be a financial investment. It can be a time investment. You know what I'm saying? Work investment. Everything that you do today is going to fuel tomorrow, right? So this is chapter 9, values. Chapter 8, vision. Okay. Chapter 9 talking about value, and chapter 8 talking about vision. All right. So what you're building now is bigger than you. Your faith, your music, your voice, it plants generational seeds. Oh my goodness, that is so true. Generational seeds. You don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, I'm just being obedient every day, day by day. I just got to be obedient. Do I feel like doing certain things? No, I feel like just chilling or not doing this and that. Yeah, of course, I'm human. But the thing that blesses me is the results. The results externally, the results internally, the results I see in my family, the climate of my home. All of those things are the result of my obedience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's such a good it's such a blessing, like all around, your faith, your music, and your voice. So as you develop your faith, you get stronger in your belief, and you're applying what you get, and you're writing music. You're actually getting it out of your head. You're recording it, playing with others. You're publishing material. All of these things are seeds that affect the next generation. It leaves a legacy for my kids and their kids. They can say that their dad or granddad was a great musician and he put out all this great music. Here, check this out. We can listen to it. That can inspire somebody. It takes their mind and spirit and heart, to a certain place because I was obedient like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know, like I say, what amount of fruit is going to come from the seeds that you plant. Okay? All right. So the quote from chapter 9, values, we talk about uh, by living out your values, you inspire your children to embrace them in their own lives. Ain't that something? Building a legacy that honors God. That's really good. One more time. By living out your values, living out your values, you inspire your children to embrace them in their own lives. Building a legacy that honors God. Ain't that something? Look at this. You know what I'm saying? You're creating generational blessings. We hear about generational curses all the time. We see it. You know what I'm saying? But what about generational blessings? Are you being a consistent example where the children see you and they're starting at an early age to replicate what they see or to duplicate what they see in you subconsciously and consciously? Are you sharing your uh, from your gifting and your talent and like what you've learned? Are you sharing it, living it, where they're able to pick it up and that's their foundation? And then they're able to take what you have to another level at a younger age. You know what I'm saying? Are you setting generational blessings in place? And so that is, that's what it's all about. That's what you're doing. So that's why it's important to be obedient because it's bigger than me. That's why selfishness is such a robber. I mean, it robs from you, it robs from your family, like even people who are talented. And it was a quote I had written in here, like, you can be talented and still indecisive, and people will miss out from the maximum, the what do you call it, the maximization of your gifting because you're indecisive, and you're not being obedient because you're fearful. And so people miss out because you're not being obedient, you're not sharing. It's like the scripture to talk about he that withholdeth corn, the people curse him. So just think, if a guy has a farmer has all this good crop and all this stuff and he's locking his gates, he's not sharing it, he's not selling it. And the whole point is, if you got all of this good stuff, it'll not only be a blessing to the people that you share it with, but it'll be a blessing to you, you know? So it's like we have to, because it's a part of our calling, but the gifts and callings are without repentance, meaning that God gives you something. He gave Lucifer something. He was beautiful in his appearance. Um, the instruments were built in his body and all of that, but he got iniquity in his heart. He rebelled against God, but he still was created as a beautiful angel. He still gave him free will to choose to rebel. And he's still using his stuff, but now he's doing it for his own glory. But the thing about it, like, God gives everybody gifts and callings, but it's up to you to use that for his glory or to use it for yourself or to bury it and really miss out on the blessings that will come from you using and operating how he's designed you to operate, you know? So that's the thing that's such a trip. You can see people who are gifted and talented, and it'll even make you mad, frustrate you. It's like, man, why aren't they doing this and why aren't they doing that? But you see a lot of people who are very talented, they struggle with addiction, they struggle with all of this stuff financially, and they're not good stewards. And it just eats you up because you see clearly all the giftedness from the outside in, but the thing that's ironic, they don't see the gifting from the inside out. So they can't even really use what they got in its fullness because a lot of times they're they have identity problems. They have identity crisis. They don't really know who they are away from their instrument, so they can't even use their instrument the way God really wants them to use. They don't see themselves as being an instrument themselves. So it's like a perversion. And so that's what the devil does. He perverts people. He perverts gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's important for you to know who you are away from your instrument so that God can get the glory through you. So you don't even need your instrument to validate who you are. Because I know my relationship with God is not dependent upon what I do. It's dependent on who I am. And so when you get that, you get the confidence. You get the you know, confidence, you feel validated, you have identity, you have purpose and self-esteem and all of that. So you start there. And then out of that, you can create. You can use your talent and ability to write music, to perform, to teach, and all of that. So out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, but also the heart is desperately wicked, and who can know it? So you got to get your heart clean. You got to get your heart right. You get that by seeking Him, and then out of that, He can use you in so many different ways, and you can operate in the fullness of your calling. And you know that's what it's about. All right, so that's how you're gonna be able to move with faith and be decisive. All right. So what's our call to action? Right. This is the end. What's the bread you've been holding back? All right. So what is that? You know what I'm saying? We started out we talking about cash or bread up on the water. So what have you been holding back on? All right. So this week you need to cast it. What is it? What you need to do? All right. Uh, so think about it. Think about it. What is the thing that you've been sitting on? What is the thing that you need to do? What have you been indecisive about? And I pray that this message today inspired you, gave you that nudge, so that you can go ahead and complete the work that He began within you, and go forth in obedience. Don't wait. Don't be in awe, or don't be afraid of success, and don't be afraid of failure. But identify uh, where that's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And know that that's not God's um, spirit. God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Let that be your reinforcement. I wrote a song about it. Anyway, but that's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Hope this was helpful for you. And make sure y'all connect with me if you are ready to be a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. Go to letsgetsound.com, and also link up with me. My number 877-360-4014. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.